Crystal here. Welcome to Money Confidence. Again, I'm Crystal Oculee, the Chief Financial Strategist here at Confidence Wealth Management. Every week, what I try to do is bring a topic that everyone's talking about, and whatever that I see has been the common theme question or concern that either my clients, any meetings, any webinars I've been having. So, there will be no surprise that the topic of the conversation has been lots of questions about cryptocurrency, which this is something that's been going on for quite some time. We do have a roundtable. We're going to talk about cryptocurrency. What is it exactly, the risk involved with it, and just how it's getting utilized and so forth. But for this little short session, because those of you who may not be able to join, I wanted to just touch base on this because it's really been interesting that everyone is talking about this like it's an asset class. Like, should I diversify in cryptocurrency as an asset class? Well, we have to remember that cryptocurrency, it is not an asset class. What is cryptocurrency? So basically, it's a way of payment for some goods, right? So right now, what are the two main ways that we are using currency for? Well, we've got physical currency. So you go to a store, you take your cash out, you purchase your groceries with it, let's say. For those of us who haven't seen cash in a long time and we only use credit cards, then that's the digital transaction, the digital way that you spend. So you take your credit card and you are purchasing goods. And that's really, there's a backing to it, right? So it's either a bank institution or whatever it is that's backing that transaction. So when you think about cryptocurrency, really what it is just a way that people are paying for goods, except there is nothing in place that as an arbitrage, it doesn't really have a true value to it, except for whatever the value is based on consumer and transaction and whatever it's decided on, in a sense, and what it's going for. That's why there's been such a huge fluctuation with it as far as ups and downs. People have that purchased it, that have all of a sudden seen increases that their money is triple, quadruple, or whatever, or maybe 10 times, and at the same time in a week they've seen it drop 80%. So really, the one thing I want you to keep in mind when there is any sort of a new, and even though, yes, it's not like brand new like it's today, it's been talked about now, it feels like more than even a decade, but it's been things that people have been talking about for the past few years. And there are companies that are investing some money in it as well. But the one thing to keep in mind is that these companies, when you see that they are like buying Bitcoin, say, for example, they're using a very small percentage of their portfolio, and they know that it could be lost, but they're even putting, in some cases, the stop loss transaction on it. So they know that what are we willing to lose? What the most we're willing to lose with it? Let's say they choose 5% or whatever it may be. So for you on the outside, when you're looking at this, I need you to really understand that you need to look at cryptocurrency as no differently than you walk into a casino in anywhere, Palm Springs, Las Vegas, wherever you go when you're going to the casino, and you want to bet on something. It could really work out. So think of a poker table, blackjack, or whatever. You're bidding on that hand. It could really work out for you, or it could really backfire and you could lose it. So as long as you're willing to lose that bet and it is not going to make or break your lifestyle, then you can go ahead and take that bet. But this is not something that, example, you call your advisor on. Hey, what do you think? Do I invest in cryptocurrency? Like when I get my clients asking me that question, I'm like, you're not asking me about an asset class. You're not asking me about how are we setting up diversification to make sure you are set up the right way on a plan. You're asking about no differently than, hey, Crystal, I am at my neighborhood casino, or whatever you are at, or I'm at Pachanga in San Diego, Palm Springs. I don't even know where that is. That's where sometimes my parents go for fun. And I'm going to go ahead and go and spend money on even the slot machine, and I'm going to go for it, or I'm going to go sit down and play poker. Are you okay with that, Crystal? Can I do that? You never would ask me about that. And this is the same thing. So I really want you to understand that, because people are always in the business of the new shiny object. What can make me rich quick and fast, and how can I benefit from it? Am I missing the boat on this? Is this something that I should really be thinking about? It depends on what kind of a person you are. Are you the type of person that likes to take bets? Or are you a type of person that really just likes to have solid plans in place? Because I've seen people where they're comparing this to saying, well, look at technology. Look at how much Apple has come along the way. If I had just bought Apple when it was $5 a share, here's where it's completely different. When you bought Apple and you were looking at that company, there was value and some solidity to that company. There was things that backed it up. There was a company that was creating, computers, now phones or whatever the case is. And you were believing in that company that was going to produce these goods, and you believed in the future they would be around. So if you bought Apple at $5 a share and you held on to it for 20 years and 15 years or whatever it is, it was almost like you planted a tree, you watered it, and now you're reaping the fruits of it. This was not an overnight thing. Where if you look at Bitcoin, it is like a bet. It is an overnight thing. There's been people that made millions overnight, but this is what I want you to think about. For every person that walks into any casino and wins big, think of how many have lost for that one winner to come out. This is the same thing. If you look at all these people that you think have made tons of money from Bitcoin, do you know how many have lost lots and lots of money from it? So I don't want you to look at this as this is a solid plan, and these are maybe stocks in a company that I believe in that are going to grow in the future, and it's going to be there for me because I believe Apple will be there, or I believe Microsoft will be there, whatever it may be. You're not buying that. You're not buying anything material. You're not buying anything that's backing up that. It's not even paper, right? You're just buying into that digital cryptocurrency, hoping that there is enough transactions that are going to be made on it that people are going to utilize it as a way to pay for their goods. So think about this as well. How many people are walking to a grocery store using right now Bitcoin to buy their groceries? Can you think of any of your friends that are doing that? Can you think of any of your friends that are using Bitcoin to pay for their kids and grandkids' college? Can you think of any of your family or friends that are using Bitcoin when they go buy their car? If you can't even think of one person, that's when you know, has this become really the mainstream of how money is being used? One of the biggest usage of it right now is illicit business, unfortunately. So yeah, it's fantastic for criminals because they don't have to, nothing gets tracked. They can literally buy, drugs, sell drugs and all of that, and no one's tracking it. So it's getting, when I look at something that's right now the biggest use, the way the transactions are used, this is one of the main thing that is being used for. You can kind of see that this is a bet. This is not a solid investment or an asset class or anything of that sort right now. So you have to be really careful and really truly understand when you ask questions of, do I diversify in cryptocurrency? That's no different than saying right now, do I diversify my net worth by going and playing a poker game? No one knows, and that's not part of your portfolio. That's not even part of your net worth. No one grows their net worth based on a bet. However, people sometimes do take a bet on things, and sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't. So do you see the difference? Separate it. Building your net worth and having a solid financial plan in place is something. And then on this side, betting on things that may or may not work is another thing, completely separate than your actual financial plan. So just make sure you understand that. I mean, one of the things I'll tell you, like, think of transactions. So every second, like Visa, I think they said there's about 1,700 transactions that are done on a Visa card, something along that number, where there's only 5 transactions per second happening on this cryptocurrency. And then what's happening with it, how much of it is legitimate business on top of that. So you can see there's a big extreme difference between what people are feeling confident and comfortable utilizing it. And by the way, one of the biggest increases that happened, I think in 2019, they said, and 2020, was the amount of Bitcoin and cryptocurrency just in general, the Bitcoin that was used to pay for ransom. Someone, that was holding your information and was saying, I will not expose you and steal your identity if you pay me in Bitcoin. So again, you see what I mean? It's very, very, I always say it's very interesting. We all want to find a way that we can make money fast, right? But the famous saying is easy come, easy go. Sometimes, with bets, that's what it is. So just utilize, if you are going to do anything with Bitcoin or cryptocurrency, I want you to look at it and utilize it in form of a bet, and that you're willing to lose that bet. And if you're okay with that, then that's absolutely fine. But please do not look at it as a way to diversify in your portfolio. You're diversifying nothing, because there is nothing that backs it up. There's absolutely zero certainty to anything happening. There is nothing regulation or regulatory about it. It's kind of like why criminals like it anyway. So you have to look at it from that perspective. In the meantime, as I said, this was going to be short and sweet. It was just to give you a little brief of how I want you to look at cryptocurrency right now and Bitcoin. And I would say definitely tune in to our roundtable. We have our CEO, we have our portfolio analyst, and we're all on there. We're going to be talking about all the different things and history and what's happening with cryptocurrency and all of that. So everyone is informed and really truly understands what they're saying when they say, I want to invest in cryptocurrency. And remember, don't let the headline fool you. The headlines are always going to be either super negative or super exciting, because that's what people usually are drawn to, right? A big win or something horrible happening. So just keep an eye on it and understand what you are asking for when you're saying, I want to bet on something, because you're betting on it. That's really what it is. So that's it at this end. If you have any questions or comments, or if you want me to talk about any other topic that are of an interest to you that you've been hearing about, please shoot out an email to me or go ahead and make a comment, and I'll be happy to have that in the next Money Confidence session. Have a great one.